Well, if you're a dentist and you're watching this video, you probably know that we get this question a lot. A patient will come and ask you, is it possible to cure these tooth cavities naturally without the intervention of the dentist? Or is it at least possible to reverse it? Well, that depends on your definition of heal and the level of the cavity we are talking about. But generally speaking, the answer is yes and no. It is yes if it is still in the early stage of tooth decay, and it is no if it has gone beyond a certain level. If you remember from our previous video, you will recall that we said the first two stages of tooth decay involve the formation of a thin film which houses bacteria that eventually produce the acid which will damage your teeth. And the second stage involves the formation of a cavity on the top surface of the enamel, what we call the white spot. But that white spot can actually progress to a cavity. But within the first layer of the tooth, it is actually possible to reverse. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can reverse tooth decay or even heal those small cavities in your teeth. And at the end of the video, I am going to give you my own tips that I have used to make sure that I have not got a cavity for all my life up to now. So don't go away, I'll be right back. In the meantime, if you are new to this channel, please take a moment and subscribe. And if you like the content in this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Welcome back. So let's get into it. There are 3 ways you can reverse or heal your tooth cavity naturally, and these are used in the right combination. Have you ever wondered that there are actually people who have bad oral hygiene whose teeth have never decayed? That is true. So how does that happen? Well, there are 3 factors to consider. The very first one is diet. The second one is oral hygiene habits. And the third one is your dental maintenance. However, research has found out that the most important factor has to do with the diet. And that is exactly the reason why there are some people with very poor oral hygiene, but their teeth have never decayed. Well, this is what happens. They are not eating the foods which are damaging their teeth, but also they could be eating the food which is actually promoting the health of their teeth. As you know from our previous video, tooth decay starts when the upper part of the tooth starts losing minerals, what we call demineralization. The tooth heals itself by a reverse process which we call remineralization. As your tooth is losing minerals, what you are eating can replace the minerals. If you watched our video on the foods which are perfect for teeth and the mouth, then you probably know all these foods. But as a rule of thumb, avoid all the foods that encourage tooth decay and eat all the foods that encourage dental health. So which are the foods which encourage tooth decay? Generally, these are foods with processed sugars. Anything to do with candies, sweets, chocolates, cakes, ice cream, and drinks. Most of those soft drinks are acidic. And when I say soft drinks, I mean sodas. By all means, avoid sodas. Because the sodas, first of all, are not nutritious. But most importantly for our case, they contain both the acid and the high level of processed sugar. And these two in combination actually accelerate the decay of your teeth. So by all means, avoid those foods. Then the foods that encourage your teeth to repair themselves. Because actually, natural healing of a tooth without intervention of a dentist means the tooth is going to repair itself. So your work is to ensure that the conditions are favorable for this repair to happen. As regards the foods, we covered them, but generally speaking, eat foods which are rich in vitamin K, phosphorus, vitamin D, vitamin B, magnesium, and the rest. Because these are the ones which are essential in the process of remineralization of your tooth. And previously we gave a detailed list of all these foods that are actually good for your teeth. If you haven't watched that video, the link is in the comment section. Watch it and you know these foods. These are the ones that you should eat. And talking about foods, there's something that we don't exactly consider as food, but it's very important in the health of the teeth. And it could contribute in the repair of your cavities, and you may never have to see a dentist. And that is water. And not any water, tap water. Please, if you have a chance to choose between tap water and bottled water, please always go for tap water, because for it is mineralized. Most national water is fluoridated, and this fluoride is essential in strengthening your teeth and make them resistant to decay. So having concluded the diet, the next thing you have to do is to ensure that you have good oral hygiene habits. Good oral hygiene habits means you have to brush at least twice a day, and that is after breakfast and after supper. The reasons for that we stated in our video on toothbrushing. And if you haven't watched that video, the link is also in the comment section. Watch that video and know why you should be brushing after breakfast and after supper, as opposed to brushing when you have woken up, which is actually completely useless for the case of dental health. So make sure that you brush and floss. I don't know if you know how to floss, but one of these days I'm going to make another video on how to floss. Let me know in the comment section if you've been interested. I can make a video to show you exactly the right way you should floss. But for today, you have to know that you have to brush and floss at least twice a day. Then finally, about dental maintenance routine. This is simply about scaling and polishing. Because no matter how well you brush your teeth, there are areas you will not reach. Even if you do brushing and flossing daily, there are still areas that you cannot reach. And this can lead to buildup of tartars. And you know how tartars house bacteria that encourage your teeth to actually decay even faster than when they are not there. So the recommended routine for scaling and polishing at the bare minimum is once a year. But ideally it's supposed to be every 4 months. Then after every 6 months is the next best routine. But if you find it difficult to maintain that routine, do it at least once a year and you will be safer and your teeth will be safe. Now this means that you are going to remove all these tartars and you are going to reduce the population of harmful bacteria, and that also means that you are giving the holes a chance to rebuild themselves, because you have reduced the acid level that is going to continue removing the minerals from the teeth. Now when you do that, minerals are no longer being lost, and that means that the minerals you are putting in through the food and the toothpaste and the water have a chance to repair your cavities. So basically, those are the 3 most important factors to consider if you want to reverse cavities in your teeth. But also make sure that you don't just do these things without knowledge. Examination is very important. Please have your routine dental checkups at least twice a year. Have a dental checkup. This is the only way these repairable cavities can be identified. You cannot see them by yourself. But for us, we have ways of checking and spotting these cavities before you even notice that they are present. So come for checkups so that these can be spotted earlier, and then you know exactly what you're going to do to reverse them before they worsen and cause you other complications. So my personal tips for preventing tooth cavity, how I have managed to stay cavity free up to this point. First, I take water all day, and I mostly take tap water, borehole water, or any other water. I only take bottled water when I absolutely have to. When I don't have to, if I have a choice, I don't take bottled water. Then I used to take sodas, but ever since I discovered that it is harmful, I stopped taking sodas. So that also ensures my teeth are still healthy. The third thing is that I don't eat candies and sweets. And if I ever take something like ice cream, I make sure that I have water handy, such that I rinse immediately, or I just drink that water to wash away the sugar. You can also do that if you cannot avoid eating things like ice cream. Then definitely I brush. I brush after every meal, after breakfast, after lunch, after supper. And I have my toothbrush wherever I go. Even at work, I have my toothbrush. And I also don't do snacking in between meals. So that has also helped me to stay cavity free. And finally, I always have my dental cleaning done every 4 months. And that has helped me a lot to make sure that I don't get tartar buildup and I don't get tooth decay. So if you follow these tips and any other tips that you know, you should be able to stay cavity free. If you know any other ways of how you can actually heal your tooth cavities naturally without the intervention of the dentist, please share them with us so that we can also get to learn, because I'm also still learning and other viewers can also learn. See you in the next one. Bye bye.